Hi, and welcome everybody to another edition of the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Podcast. I'm Ross Benjamin of RBWins.com. It's Monday, November the 22nd. And as always on Mondays, our college football edition with professional sports handicapper extraordinaire, Mr. Doug Upstone of DocSports.com. Doug, how are you today?
I'm doing well, Ross, and not wasn't extraordinary over the weekend for college football. Made a couple errors on some games, and I was surprised anybody. Cincinnati showed up,
Yeah.
so that was the big one there that got me there. But hey, you know what? You win some, you lose some. You like I say, as we've talked about many times, you just pick up the pieces and you move ahead, and that's exactly what I'm doing. And moving ahead to one of my personal favorite weeks of the year of college football, where you have all these drum roll rivalry games. Okay, I got it right.
Yeah,
And
there you go.
so
We were joking off air. We all have our enigmas when it comes to pronouncing certain words, and rivalry seems to be one of Doug's. And but he got it right that time. Very impressive, Doug.
it must be going to be a good week. That's all I can tell you, Ross.
Well, the college football playoff picture starts to shape up and present some interesting matchups on rivalry week. Here's the thing, Doug, and I always say this: just because a team needs the game more doesn't necessarily mean they're going to win. On top of that, there's always a point spread that's associated in what topics we discuss, and certainly doesn't assure the better team on paper to win, and especially so when it applies to these rivalry games. There's some good ones this week: Mississippi, Mississippi State, Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, just to mention a couple. Doug, any thoughts in that regard?
Yeah, I mean, all of those, you're exactly right what you said. You hate to use all the cliches for some of these games, but you know what? They end up being true.
Yeah.
Okay. And a lot of times from a motivation standpoint, that is sometimes difficult to try and figure, what's going to happen here. Or, teams actually is better, should be stronger, and all of those types of things that come about. Obviously Michigan, Ohio State. Okay. I mean, that's the key game that will determine a lot of things, that will happen in the potential playoff picture this week. And Ohio State has just beat them like a drum the last several years. So does Michigan finally have a team that's capable of running with Ohio State? Well, we'll find out on Saturday. And that should be a beauty, and just in general, Ross, I just love all these, in fact, one of the things I'll share this with everybody. One of the things I would like to do in life yet is to write a book about rivalries, and especially from this weekend. The Georgia Tech, good old fashioned hate. Okay, is what it's referred to. And it's the Bedlam, Oklahoma State. I mean, the list goes on and on of all these different games. And there's has some historical stuff like here in Arizona State. Not many people know this, or few people know this, is that the Territorial Cup is actually the oldest trophy in college football history, dating back to, I believe it's 1899. So there's teams that played before them, but they haven't had something to play for. And you and I, Ross, have been around long enough, for example, in that one, to where it used to be the visitor. You didn't have to know anything. Okay.
Yeah.
All you had to do was just put down the visitor, and you were cashing on, they used to play on Fridays. You cashed on Saturdays. Okay. It just was automatic. And then, and there's one other one. I'll just throw this one out there before I throw it to you. There's one to think about this weekend. Okay. And I played this for years. UL Monroe against, now it's Louisiana. The visitor is on an 11-0 ATS run. And if you go back a little bit further, it's 16-1-1 for the visitor. So this week, even though it looks like a complete mismatch again this year, take a look at Monroe and this one. My thought.
Yeah. Well, I mean, on top of that, UL Lafayette just coming off a big game, if I recall. So, you know, uh, the old cliche that we've heard so many times, and it's overused, is when these two teams get together, throw
Right.
away the records. Well, yeah. I guess you could say that there used to be a lot of instances where that applied. Navy Army comes to mind. That's always something we hear in the Army Navy game, excuse me. They'll be playing in 2 weeks. And by the way, if you're looking for trends on um, rivalry games, the academies, when they play each other over the last 5 years or so, a plethora of unders. Now, having said that, I'm not privy to know what the total is going to be in the Army Navy game, but I'm thinking it's going to be in the low 40s to high 30s. But we'll see. In any event, Doug, we have free picks for the viewers out there on games that are going to be played on Saturday. And before I get to those few picks, just a friendly reminder, folks, you can find me at rbwins.com. I'm coming off a 5-2 Saturday, much to Doug's chagrin. I did have Cincinnati. I thought they would wake up, but that happens. Sometimes it's the other way around. And I also had a 10-star top play winner on the Utah Utes, -3, as they just destroyed number 3 Oregon 38-7. Case in point, folks, I've been talking about this for a while now. Whenever you get these matchups where you see a team that's the lower ranked team in Utah who has 3 losses on the year, and they're facing the number 3 team in the country who comes in 9-1 and basically has to just win out to make the college football playoff. Why are they a 3-point underdog? It's just not that easy. So, and one other thing before we get to our free pick, and Doug's going to start us off with that. Thank you for waiting patiently. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube sports betting channel here. Absolutely free to do so. You'll see 2 videos every week from myself and Doug Upstone. Pretty soon we'll be starting some college basketball NBA videos as the football season winds down. Also, every week you'll see an NFL and college football video with me and Chip Chirimbus. So to get all those videos and free pick winners, you can subscribe and hit that notification bell, and you will be notified right away upon us publishing any one of these sports betting videos. All right, Doug, you've been patient, and the folks are on pins and needles here. I don't have a drum roll, but what's your free pick on Saturday in college football, my friend?
No ACC this week, Ross. I'm taking a week off from the ACC. So I'm going over to Conference USA. Not many people do that just in general, but I am. And it's a big one for this one because it's the Eastern Division of the Conference USA, which is a matchup between Western Kentucky and Marshall. The winner is going to the championship game to face likely undefeated UTSA. So lot of writing on this one, and the winner of this one has a chance to knock off the unbeaten team. So there's a bunch of good things going. Now, earlier this year, Western Kentucky lost 4 in a row. Since then, they've rattled off 6 straight victories, going 5-1 against the spread. And their average margin of victory, Ross, is 25.5 points per game. Now, the Hilltoppers, once again, are back to being their identity, which is a passing team. And they're far and away the top passing team in the country at over 430 yards a game. But the difference with this team, though, is that they've gotten better on defense, and especially a ball hawking defense. In that stretch of 6 wins, they've only given up 18.5 points per game. And you ready for this? They have generated in their last 4 games 17 turnovers.
Wow.
And if you go back to their last 7, it's still a highly respectable 22. Okay. So they are really getting the job done on defense. Now, Marshall comes in a nice run of their own. They're 5-1 straight up. But the only good team they really faced in that period was UAB. At home, they lost 21-14. The Herd comes as host in this series is 0-4-1 against the spread. And the Toppers, okay, they come in at 6-0 as a road underdog of 7 points or less. So, Ross, I'm going to take that single digit, and I'm just going to take that as it. And I'll say it for you. And folks, you can also take them on the money line. Okay, in this one.
Yeah.
So I got Western Kentucky.
What's your official line?
It's actually at -1, but yes,
Okay.
but the money line will obviously work as well.
Yes, I would highly recommend, again, to reiterate Doug's thoughts. If you -1, why would you not go to the money line? Probably get about $1.20, $1.25 you have to lay. You don't hesitate to do that in baseball season. You don't hesitate to do it when you buy off a key number half point. Don't hesitate to do it here, folks. Western Kentucky, I'll say it for Doug, on the money line. All right. So, in any
I feel
event,
better now.
I'm sure you feel more secure after I clarified that for you.
Absolutely.
Okay, so Oklahoma, number 10 in the country, is going to go to Stillwater, Oklahoma to take on their heated rival, the Oklahoma State Cowboys, who come in number 7 in the country and a 3.5 point favorite in this game. Now, folks, if raise your hand if you would have said in early September that when these teams met at the end of the year, Oklahoma State would be a 3.5 point favorite in the game, even at home. Now put your hand down because you're a liar. Oklahoma State has been a terrific surprise this year. And right now, quite frankly, I think that they're the better team in this matchup. Throw the rivalries aside, they're just playing better football right now. Doug, I mean, they've got better and better as the year went on. Their lone loss was by 3 at Iowa State, a team that's much better than the record indicates, I should say. Oklahoma just coming off a narrow 7 point win against Iowa State last week. Very fortunate to hang on as Iowa State was down on their 20-yard line and failed to move the ball on 4 downs, and they escaped. And Oklahoma State, 4-0 straight up in ATS in their last 4 games, folks. And they allowed, Doug, talk about defense, a combined 23 points in their last 4 games, and they're outscoring the opposition, which is all Big 12 opponents, by 35.5 points per game. I mean, this is a team that's just gelling at the right time. And I know I'm going to catch some heat from this, but I think that Mike Gundy is a better head coach than Stoops. I mean, considering what he's always, he does not get the talent that Oklahoma gets every year. He does get out-recruited every year, and it's Oklahoma. If the kid's got to make a decision, Oklahoma's the brand name that's a little more popular than Oklahoma State when it comes to college football. This is also the Oklahoma team that they got a lot on the line too. I mean, both teams have an outside chance of still making a college football playoff. They need to win out, either one of them, and then they need a lot of help in front of them. I think Oklahoma at number 10 right now, I would be, even if they do win out, I don't see them making it. Oklahoma State, on the other hand, you look at their resume, it's awful, awful impressive. Anyway, let's get to this game. I'm going to take Oklahoma State, lay to 3.5, buy them down to 3. It might cost you as high as $1.30, but key numbers, folks, 3, 6, 7, 10, 13, 14. I never want to lose by a half a point on those numbers. Okay, I can live with a push. I can't live with losing by a half a point. And the juice only counts when you lose, Doug. So I'm going to buy this down to 3 and take Oklahoma State minus the 3, minus 125, 130, whatever they may be, over Oklahoma on Saturday. Doug, what do you got coming up this week? And anything you want to discuss, whether it be the NBA, college basketball, or anything else going on?
Yeah, no, Russ, you know what? I am focused wholly this week on college football. We've got a college football show talking about it. So I'm looking to really dial in because this is the last big week of the season. Next week is the championship game and a few others, or conference championship games and a few others. So I'm looking to really go out with a bang. Last weekend didn't go as I expected. So this week I'm looking to make sure that absolutely happens. Have a couple of games that I've already highlighted, even though it's Monday, that have really caught my eye because, hey, we got things starting much sooner this week, especially, a big card on Friday. So have to get a little bit quicker start and definitely plan to do so. So check out all my stuff this week at Doug Upstone at DocSports.com. And I'm looking to make, if you're coming with me, I'm looking to make you some money big time this coming weekend.
That's one of the finest handicappers in the country, folks. Doug Upstone, and like myself, he's as transparent as they come. You've heard us on oftentimes brag about a winning streak we have, but we also own up when we lose or when we're losing, okay? And the other thing I wanted to bring up, Doug, before I get to my final goodbye here is, I think folks think we don't take these free picks seriously. Okay. And I want your take on this. And they complain about them. And then when you turn around and say, well, if you would have spent some money, you would have went 5-2 with me on Saturday in college football. And they'll turn around and say, in other words, you don't care about your free picks. Well, look, folks, that's not the truth. Okay. I mean, there was a 4 or 5 week period where me and Doug were just killing it on both the college football and NFL picks at the same time. Okay. Now, having said that, business 101, folks, would it be fair? Let's be hypothetical. If you paid me or Doug for our picks for the season, would you not be perturbed if we were giving them out for free to a subscriber base of over 7,000 people, which we have on this channel? It wouldn't be. Okay. So again, when we're giving out a free pick, we're not throwing something against the wall. I could speak for Doug when I say this. Is, for example, if we have 5 picks on a college football Saturday, I can assure you we had 8 or 9 written down and analyzed that were potential plays. And sometimes you need to leave some of those out. Well, the first couple we leave out are usually our free picks. So it's not like they're a terrible pick. It's just a non-qualifier for one reason or the other. Doug, you want any thoughts on that? Because I'm sure you heard the same,
Yeah, yeah,
over the years.
absolutely, Ross. And I will tell you that, well, first of all, is that some of these picks, I honestly, some of these picks that we have done on college football on Mondays have ended up on my list.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, so I'm looking at it as I'm taking it seriously right from the start. Is like, okay, this game is of interest to me. Have I researched the game entirely? Absolutely not. But then when I did research the game completely, okay, and like I say, it hasn't been certainly every week, but I think I can think of at least 3, maybe even 4 instances where games that I talked about here on this video ended up being my actual picks. Okay.
Yeah.
It's just because I ended up liking the game that much. And so I did some early homework on this to make it happen. At the same time, I have always been one, and I have been told by other places, on your free picks, Doug, you should always take the most popular teams to get more views. Well, you know what? I'm going to get more views by winning. That's how I'm going to get more views. Okay. I don't care that if Michigan is playing Ohio State this week, that will not be a free play for me here or anywhere. Okay. It's a different game. There's a lot of things about the game I don't like. And so very unlikely that I'll play the game anyways, but I want to bring winners, whether they're paid picks, whether they're free picks. Okay. That's what matters to me, Ross. Nothing else.
And it's a very good point because there's a lot of, and I'm not throwing stones at anybody. I understand why they do it for a marketing purpose. And I understand the correlation between um, 2 recognizable names, 2 good brand names in college football playing each other, how much interest that would generate. So when you do that, you sacrifice at times, and I would say most times, that you're pretty much just trying to create a winner. You really don't like the game, okay? Or you're real hesitant and you might like the side and say, well, let me give the total out because I'm selling the side. So yeah, you back yourself into a corner. Now today I gave you Oklahoma State. Um, I might use that game on Saturday. Last week I used Kansas State as a free pick here, folks. I used it on set. I went 5-2 on Saturday, and they were one of my 2 losers. So my point being, we're recording on Monday, and we're giving you games that aren't going to be played for another 4 days. There's a lot of line movement that happens in between those games, and in between the time we record and the games itself. And as we both know, Doug, there's a lot of there's more so line movement sometime of 2 to 3 points during the course of a week in a college football game than you will ever see in an NFL game, short of a key player being ruled out that wasn't expected. So, like Lamar Jackson on Sunday in the NFL. So, in any event, thank you for hearing us out on that, folks. But I wanted to clarify for you because the topic did come up in the feedback. And, folks, your comments are always welcomed as long as they're not disrespectful. And disrespectful isn't agreeing with our point of view, not agreeing with our point of view or picks. Disrespectful is when you start getting into calling one of us an old man, or where do you dye your hair, or do you do hey, he's got to be doing Botox. Who cares about that stuff? Plus the fact, it's just, you're throwing rocks at people, and that's just not, that's something I won't tolerate. And chances are I'll warn you once, and then the second time you're going to be gone. You're not going to be on the channel, because the viewers and the listeners don't know, got no part of that. Doug, until we're going to have to talk, because Thursday is Thanksgiving, so we'll have a later week taping. I'm just not sure when at this point. But folks, I'm sure if you check back by Friday, we'll have an NFL free pick video for you in this week's NFL card as well. For Doug Upstone and Ross Benjamin, I'd like to wish each and every one of you all the very best. Take care, God bless, and have a happy Thanksgiving, folks.